Warning, if you're faint of heart or easily offended, this show is not for you.
Hey, we've got Billy on the show, and now that I'm part owner of Hustler Casino Live, he can finally listen to some of my recommendations for improving the show.
Valerie, you're not an owner of Hustler Casino Live. What in the fuck? Welcome to the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci. We are here with Billy DGAF and Valerie Brill. Let's go. Billy,
what's happening?
Look at this. We got the legend, the poker crusher in our studio.
The best show on Hustler Casino Live.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
I thought you had a bunch of new ideas for the show.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll talk about them after.
Okay, yeah, no, that's great. I do. I've had a lot of fun with that project of taking the crusty 10-20 game and turning it into something people actually want to see every week.
Hey, literally, it's one of our, it's if not the most popular show as far as viewership and interest, and no bullshit, you've done a great job with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it is the most fun. The gambling I've seen, it's just absolutely bananas sometimes, which is, you know, what a lot of us like about poker.
For sure. I think the Tuesday game rivals the Monday game with regard to gambling, but
Yeah.
I love the diversity on the Monday show, that there's actually women on there and
oh wow, you're speaking her language.
Other industries.
Speaking of that, so like, what is the premise of the show for people who are just starting to discover Hustler Casino Live?
The premise of the show, so there were 5 different games, as you know, on Hustler Casino Live, and the smallest game was a 10-20 no limit game, and it sometimes was a real snooze fest. And Ryan kind of came to me and said, "Do you want to play on this game and kind of like build it up?" And that's Ryan Feldman I'm talking about. And I said, "Sure." And then I just started getting creative. I realized the metric that matters most is views. And I just started thinking, who will bring views? And when I started commentating, I knew that when Poker Bunny was there, we got a bunch more views. And so I knew women were important, attractive young women were important. And that's my starting point, was to have women on the show to bring views that way, and to give women a good platform for their organizations like Poker Power or whatever it is. So that was the first thought, and then since then I've kind of branched out into, I want women with strong social media and men with strong social media, and then a couple stone cold maniacs to drive the action, and that's kind of the recipe for now.
Shout out to DK, my favorite player.
Yeah,
DK is the very best.
And for those of you who don't know, we are talking about the Monday show. It's called Max Payne Monday, and that show specifically encourages going once, encourages slow rolls, needles, and any other inappropriate poker etiquette.
Yeah, that's how the branding was born, actually, is I've always been a slow roller with people I think can take it. And Aaron Queskin went all in against me for 7,000 maybe, and I had aces pre-flop, and I went in the tank and I gave him the business, and I said, "You always fucking have it. I don't know." And then finally I put the call in, and then I turned over my aces maybe a minute later. And Ryan and Raver Poker, who was commentating, were like, "We need to do this slow rolls." and then the viewers love only running it once when the money goes in.
They love blood.
So that was a concession. The players like to run it twice because there's a ton of variance in live poker, and if you can reduce that in any way, usually you try to. But that was a concession. Run it once. Oh, let's add slow rolls, and then we added the 7 deuce game just to kind of make it a fun, social game.
Why do you think this is on the subject of going once or twice? Why do you think some players, crushers, like to go once? I mean, there are even some that are not crushers, but saying, you know, you made the point that there's so much variance, but why do you think there's some players that just want to go once? Why do they want to embrace the variance? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so if they're properly rolled, they're happy to embrace the variance because it means 2 things. they're going to see another hand quicker, so they're going to increase their volume by running it once. And the second thing is they're going to have more fold equity in general when they go all in if their opponents know this guy's only running it one time. So if you know your opponent's always going to run it twice, you might gamble and call with a draw or top pair, whatever it might be. And a crusher might be bluffing and doesn't even have good equity against that.
Yeah.
Or they really just prefer a fold. So you have more inherent fold equity if you're known as someone who runs it once, and the game goes faster. You get to see another hand.
So you go faster, you see more hands because you're a better player, and you are more scary.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this question too. So when I first met you, I personally didn't know who you were, you know, but as I started talking to people, everyone's saying, no, this is Billy. Did you play at Oceans?
Yeah.
Okay, so Oceans, Commerce, this is DGAF, and I'm not just saying this, the crusher, the guy who has been in the lab, he understands the game at a higher level. I think even in the past, you and Garrett would debrief on strat, right? So you're at a different level, but I didn't personally know that. So how did you even start playing poker and get to that point?
So I played poker even when I was 5 years old, just going to friends' house, playing with their dads or whatever. And then I played on and off in high school.
You're just stacking dads?
No, just with
taking neighbors' money.
Literally with coins.
I'm all in to stay up till 11 p.m.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, and then I played a lot after high school. I played a lot of guts games, which are just all psychological. It's just reading your opponents, tricking your opponents, and if who has the most guts wins. But you have to know when someone actually has a really good hand. And I was always also a pretty degenerate gambler, just blackjack, sports, whatever. And just one time when I went to Vegas, I lost all my money in the pits as usual, and someone gave me $100 to play at Binion's way back in the day. And I played stud all night long for $100, and I lost. But I realized the strategy involved in it, and that I loved gambling. I could take that, and with a little reading and studying and practice,
you could beat it. You can't beat the pits.
I could beat it, right? And so I'm so old school. People don't understand when I tilt over someone taking too long. Here's how old school I am, Nick. I was a casino rat before the boom. Yeah. I was playing stud high-low and limit hold'em way before. I was playing when you could smoke cigarettes at the table as long as you weren't in the 1 or the 9 seat.
Dude, you look like you're 30.
Same.
How old are you?
I'm 48 years old.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember those days. But yeah, I didn't know that.
So that's how old school I am. And then I was earning, a little bit in the games prior to the boom. And then when the boom happened, I realized I could make a bunch. Yeah. And I ended up quitting my jobs and became a professional poker player at Ocean's 11.
What year was that, roughly? Just roughly.
2007 is when I quit my job.
Got it. Okay.
What were you doing?
I was a regional manager for a restaurant delivery company that got bought out by Grubhub.
Okay.
But I was regional manager in San Diego and Las Vegas, and I played poker in San Diego and Las Vegas.
So you get your paycheck, you cash it, you go lose it in the pits, you go back to work.
No, so at this point I was playing poker and I was winning a lot, but I was always spending everything I won. And then one day in 2007, my little brother came with me to the casino, and I was playing 2-3 no limit. I was just beating it for a couple $100 and spending it on whatever. And he played higher than me. My little brother played 5-5, and that pissed me off. And I decided that day I'm going to separate my poker money from my other money. And so I was in 2-3. I had maybe $1,000, and maybe in 3 sessions, I just skipped the 5-5, went to the 10-10, put it all on the table, won, and then within a few months had a bankroll, could quit my job and pay bills for a year.
Wow.
But I was the pro that I speak out against often. I was the guy not giving any action, not being social, just really playing to win every single hand, my hardest. And I wasn't smug. I was a nice guy, but I actually got basically 86 from Ocean's 11 for being kind of a nit, just not giving anything, just taking money.
Yeah, just
every
crushing.
single day.
You're crushing.
And then I went to Vegas and I changed into this different kind of player that gives up EV all over the place, but long term can make a lot of money.
Did anyone inspire you to change? Like what was it besides getting 86?
So that was it. It was of course you're going to have the assholes that are going to, I actually got a death threat by some guy, some ex-con, and that's one thing, but it's when the nice regs, like the really nice guys that you play with all the time are like, it's time for you to move on. And like, you have to go to a bigger pond. And it just really made me think these guys don't want to play poker with me. And I'm a nice guy. I'm like, don't do anything shady. And then so I just thought, it just kind of happened, I guess, in Vegas, where I realized the end game is getting people to want to play big with you and to gamble with you and have fun with you, and it's good for your soul as well. And that's how I've been able to play 30,000 hours plus.
How are you able to navigate, explain it to me, to give away that EV and still long-term B plus EV? Like, how do you do that? Because we know that when you start playing like that, you're going to give some back. That's just the way it is, right? So how do you balance that out into a plus at the end of the year?
Well, we were talking before we started recording about some of the crazy action players in LA, and they want to play with me on stream only. That's just what they want.
Yeah.
And so you get that benefit if you gamble and you have drinks. But to answer your question, I see you do it. You don't give yourself any credit for this because you do have really strong hand selection, and people give you a ton of shit for that. But I noted on Thursday when we played together on stream how quickly you were playing. When you play that quickly, you're definitely sacrificing some EV. Yeah. Because you could think it through a little more, and you're going to make some mistakes with your sizing, if not a bigger mistake by playing so quickly.
And you know that I know to not do that because I'm in the lab. Like, I know to not do that, but I know you have to.
So you sacrifice too. You don't get any credit for it, but you do. You play fast.
Do you think I'm a nit?
So I have a different interpretation of it.
You can just tell him the truth. You're not going to get fired. I'm the owner.
I know Vanessa, I know you're the owner.
Oh my God.
Because I think I'm a little misunderstood, not defensively, because I've embraced it. I am Nitucci.
Can I tell you what a nit is?
Yes.
Okay, so if you look up...
You're looking at him.
So interesting.
No. So the way NIT got started was, I think Antonio Esfandiari was talking about people who brought no action to the table, right?
Yeah.
They just waited for good hands. And that's parasitic if you're only waiting for good hands and you're never bluffing and you're never providing any action or bringing anything else to the game.
Right.
If you look up NIT, it's a louse. It's like a parasite. And so that's the interpretation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
So that's the way I use it, as if you don't bring anything to the game and you just take from it, you're a NIT. But no, I don't think you're a NIT. First of all, you bring the game. That's a big thing to do.
Yeah.
And you have camaraderie with people you play with. Yeah. And I've told you, like, fuck the VPIP. So what? You have good hand selection. You do bluff. You play fast. You are friends with all these dudes, and you laugh at yourself when you get whacked.
Yeah, we didn't rehearse this too, by the way, Valerie. Just so you know, this was organic.
So we all know why this is
organic.
Happening.
No, it's not. No, Billy. No, I'll tell you, Billy and I have like tough conversations.
I give it to people straight.
Like, I ask him things, or we'll have like private conversations, or even when he's commentating, you give it straight.
Look,
to me as well.
I have to continue this because my only thing over Nick is his VPIP, and it drives me crazy. And after every show, I bug him. I'm like,
but you're just
only 22%,
right.
less than everybody else. But you know, now you're taking that away from me.
You're just regurgitating.
You're actually fired now because I am the owner.
That's fine. And there are plenty of streams I can go.
Please, Billy, go on. I thought I heard some noise in the background. Would you please finish?
So, and then there's another side to it, that the rules aren't the same for everyone, and just people won't grasp that. Like, there are people that do things for the show, behind the scenes with social media, building the show up. Sashimi, for one. Yeah. She has brought us so many Japanese viewers and so many players. She's brought so many players to our show, not just on Monday nights, right? Other nights. And she's doing stuff, a 1% giveaway if you follow Max Payne Monday and Hustler Casino Live. And she's wearing she does so much. She does not have to VPIP like a maniac. Right. Like someone who doesn't do that stuff. Right. Has to. Right? Yeah. It's your fucking show, and you don't either. That's just the truth, right? The rules are different for you than they are for me. and it's just the way the world is, right?
Just like they're different for me than like a 5'10" reg who wants to play in your game. Being a woman, being on social media,
right?
I have a better shot at getting in there. Plus, I'm probably worse than most of them. So,
but for me,
yeah, you're like a unicorn.
But for me, it's not about worse. It's I've asked you to be on the show.
Yeah,
because I know you have a good reach in the poker world. You have strong social media, and so we have hype videos before each show, and people will retweet them.
She'll love that, like doing your own video.
And that's been a big part of the growth. And so, yeah, the rules aren't the same for you as they are for some dude with no social media that no one's going to tune in for unless he plays like a stone cold maniac.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. And people want it to be a level playing field. It never has been. It never will
and nothing in life really is.
And just like the whale can kind of be an asshole, the pro cannot be a fucking asshole. You see Garrett Alstein always on his best behavior, whatever you want.
Yeah, he's the mayor.
He has to do that because he's so good.
Is.
If he was punting it off, he could be like, fuck you. You know, he could be an asshole. It's just the way it works.
Yeah. No, that's a great breakdown. I think it's good for, not for me, but for the whole thing that you said, even about all the different elements of this, for people that are listening to understand that, because to put together a private game and to have it be successful, there are all these different ingredients and things that a lot of people don't realize. They look at one thing, they're focused on it, or they repeat shit they hear. That's you're an owner now.
You're fired. You're fired. I'm buying up your equity.
Now that you're an owner, you got to take more heat.
You now report to me.
That's right. It's just you and Ryan. Yeah, just let me know what I could do to help you guys out. That's all, you know. But yeah, well said.
Just to push back a little bit. So I will say when I think you are doing something you shouldn't.
You have, yeah.
When you are expecting someone who's worse than you at poker
to show their hand,
to show their hand, they don't have to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I as that. Then I want you to finish that, and I just want to say, as that what's it called? As that discussion was evolving about me defending like the poker etiquette, you told me, I got to be honest with you. And I think you told me it that night while I was commentator the next day. You're like, no, in this case, Garrett needs to just show his damn hand. He's the pro. He's the one. Because I was commentating saying, well, this etiquette, like, you're good. Turn your hand over. But you made me kind of understand, like, even for myself, because you've commented even on, I think, on air when I'm like trying to tell Wesley, like, show your fucking hand. Yeah. Like I said, you're good. Like, you have to understand the etiquette, and you made me understand that. And I'm not just saying like, oh, because you said it, I agree. When I really thought out that process and thought out what you said and how you said it, I actually agree. So I was wrong.
Here's the problem with thinking in black and white. You're right that when someone says you're good, you turn over your hand, and sometimes you're going to get accidentally slow rolled or purposefully slow rolled.
Right.
But that's the rule. There are exceptions. Now, if it's a super pro and the guy who made the hero call is not a super pro, in that case it was Garrett and Charles.
Right.
And you either, as Garrett, you either muck your hand and don't get to know what he called you with, or you turn it over and then he'll have to
show. So when he said, I'm going to see your hand anyways, that just was out of line.
I didn't understand. I didn't know what that meant. I thought that meant he was going to see it later.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
That's exactly.
Oh, that's true. That's probably what it did mean. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't agree with everything he does. He does most things very well.
He does, yeah.
But I thought in that instance, he should either just fold it if he doesn't want to show his hand, and then he doesn't get to know what the other guy had, or turn it over. Now, if it's DK who says you're good, fucking turn your hand over immediately, no matter what you got, right?
Yeah,
Someone who provides all the action and plays for fun, it's different.
Yeah, and I'll say now, my new etiquette strat is just that. If by nature I might say to someone, you're good, because that's just what you do, and if they flop their hand over, then we're good. If there's any hesitation, no, I don't even care who it is, I'm just gonna turn my hand over. Right. Because who cares? If really, if you think about it, you know, so I'm actually changing my my thought process on that because of all that banter that was going around, and I was defending it vehemently.
I disagreed with that one.
Yeah, no, I know.
And a lot of it has to do with what's going on in the session. If Garrett stuck $250,000 in the session, then you turn it over. It's different.
So there's different elements and layers, right? Intangibles. Yeah,
I mean that's what I think.
No, I think you're right. And if I didn't, I would also tell you. I don't think you're right. And I will say this. I might have said this to Valerie. I said it to some other people, and I am not saying this for any other reason. If anyone watches the show or sees me on the show, everyone knows, like, I usually say it how it is. I've watered it down a little bit because of the show, but I'm very direct in what I think. And I want everyone to know that as I got to know you, because I had no idea who you were, you started commentating for us, Ryan had the relationship. And as I got to know you, I will tell all of you out there watching that Billy is becoming, and not that we're bros and we're instant bros, but like a friend of mine, to where, like, when I have a bad session or I got like, what do you think of this? Like, I kind of go to you because I know you don't give two shits who I am, in respectfully, like, you're just going to tell me the truth, which I like that. That's a real relationship to me. And you had my back on certain things that I was like shocked that you took that stance. So again, I'm only saying this because I've said it to others that I like, honestly, you're one of my favorite people that work with us. Swear.
Thanks,
and
man.
I could like tell you too that I don't like, but I won't. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
What do you not like?
Just air it out now.
I'm joking. But point is I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
I'm sitting right here.
You could just have Vicky fire him.
Vicky! Man, that might even have been a better one than Valerie.
Oh my God.
But she is metamorphosing into Valerie. Like, Veronica will not exist 12 months from now.
Oh my God!
I'm just telling you.
I think I want to take a break from Hustler Casino Live.
Well, sure. You become an owner, and within the first 48 hours, you just want to walk away.
Yeah, I need a vacation from you.
Can you imagine all the people out here that really haven't followed it, and they start thinking, "How did she become an owner?" They're like going to believe it. They're going to believe it.
What do you mean? Believe what? It's true.
Oh yeah, I forgot. All right.
I'm curious how you got your name, because to me, it's don't give a fuck.
Right. So there's nothing behind it, really. I used to put a lot of work in on my poker game, and that meant being on 2+2 all the time. That was like the best resource back in the day. It used to be the best players in the world would share ideas, and it wasn't really affecting the poker world that much. It was just a few people sponging off of it and trading their ideas. And I never had an account. And then I got tired of searching. If you want to search something and you don't have an account, you have to put in that blurry word that's not really a word.
And it's so annoying.
Fucking
annoying.
I
think they've updated it now. There's new owners. The website looks different. I've been on there recently.
So I was going to finally create an account. And at the time I was doing this, I don't know what year, 2008, I was, okay, I need to create an account. And I just texted my older brother, do you want to get together for the holidays? So I was trying to be like the bigger man and reach out to someone I don't talk to that much. And his reply was DGAF. Don't give a fuck.
Your brother?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I just thought it was funny. So as I'm putting it in there, I just put in DGAF for no fucking reason. And I never even thought I would post on 2+2. I just went there to lurk and look at the hands. And then I started posting, and then I became a very prolific poster. I had, I don't know, over 5,000 posts probably.
What were your favorite things to post about?
So for a while, I would post in every hand that was presented, every hand history. And I would think from I want to say, I would start from scratch. I wouldn't use the cookie cutter methods. I would just think logically, use deductive reasoning, the best way to play a hand. And I caught a lot of shit for that because it was different than most people at the beginning. And then a lot of these people were washed out of poker, and I was thriving. And then I started to get the other reputation where no one was even challenging me anymore. And so,
and this is stud, or this is
Hold'em?
Hold'em
This was
stuff?
after the boom. This was after the boom. This was deep stack Nolan Hold'em, which is still pretty unsolved. And then I thought I was done in 2012. I thought I was done with poker. I finally had a bad year, which I still won, but it wasn't nearly enough in 2011. And so I kind of wrote like my poker story as a goodbye piece, as a farewell gift. So I thought, and just trying to teach people how to win and be good for the game at the same time, which is the ultimate.
It's hard to do both.
Yeah, it's hard to do both, but there are just so many things you can do to be good for the game. You don't have to do all of them.
Yeah.
And someone said, you wear sunglasses, that's bad for the game. Well, I don't think it's black and white. And maybe if it is, I do so many things that are good for the game. Right?
Yeah, because someone just posted that recently, right?
Right.
Said, why do you wear sunglasses or something like that? And you said, I'll talk about it on the podcast. Why is that bad for the game? Why is that perceived?
Again, let me say from my perspective, I think it depends. So these sunglasses are a part of your look. This is your brand in a way. But you're still giving action and talking to players. It's more about the sunglasses, the hat, the hoodie, and like not communicating with other people.
The guy that just sits there and
being a shithead to the dealer. Yeah. So
is that just
that's
part
what it is.
of the piece of the puzzle? Because if someone just references sunglasses and you don't have any of the hoodies or any of the other stuff, what I'm curious to know, because you know some of the ins and outs, why is that perceived? Because I wear them. Now, they're prescription, to my defense, and our lights are very bright. He's
totally blind.
And our lights are really bright. So that's why I wear them, but I'm curious.
Okay, so just to finish on the 2+2 thing, then that farewell thing turned into like my life story. I don't know how it did. It just turned into it, and it became like the beginning of me having any insight into my ways, which is, I'm sure some people can relate to. But anyways, beyond that, sunglasses, why do I wear them? I don't typically wear them when I play on the casino floor. It's not very bright. I don't usually drink on the casino floor. When you are drinking or on a substance, you want some sunglasses on. It's just something that goes with it. D-Gens wear sunglasses at the table, and no one thinks that's bad, right? The guy that's on one, like you can tell is on one, is wearing sunglasses. No one cares,
right?
And the other thing is, I don't sleep a ton because I work so much, and I just have really sensitive eyes. I have light eyes, so those lights are really bright.
They are bright.
There's just no choice. I don't think I could play without sunglasses on stage. But on the casino floor, I often don't wear them.
Yeah, and I forgot these prescription glasses, and I have another pair in my bag that's just regular, and I had to wear them one time. It was horrible for me. Like, it's so bright. Right. That's how I felt about it. Yeah.
So, and even if it would be better for the game if I didn't. Well, I do so many things that are good for the game. No one's perfect.
Yeah,
you just want to check.
You called a 3-bet Thursday with pair of threes. I mean, you're great for the game.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that.
I called 6,000 with 5 high pre-flop too.
You sure did. But you were you were tilty at that point. Don't say you weren't.
I was a little tilty. I was just.
Well, you were crabby. Why were you crabby?
I was crabby because I'm a grizzled vet. I told you I played for like 10 times more hours than anyone else at that table. Even though some people are older than me. So it comes
with the territory.
Well, yeah, and then the kid on my right, I like that kid, Greedy Grant.
Yeah, Grant.
Yeah, but he's tanking too much the whole show and talking strat, like all the things that'll just irk me. And I really wanted to do well, and I was just dealt out for 5 hours. I had no hands.
Yeah, I get it. So
you have to force something.
So
sometimes.
Recap on Thursday's game, or Thursdays, it was the ante game. First time you played the ante game and not a Monday game, and you were stuck about a 30 or 40 ball at this moment that I'm talking about. Yeah. Whatever. You've been there. Yeah. And Grant to your right, Greedy Grant, like you said, was tanking, and he was talking strat, and he was, he's a good guy. I like him too, but I get it. Like, that could be annoying. And I think it also could be annoying too when you're stuck 30 or 40,000. And so we were in a hand where I don't want to say it was a decision, but it wasn't that type of decision. And how long do you think it went that he sat there and thought about it and talked?
It was like 5 minutes.
Maybe even a little more, right?
He would have went through all his time chips if he was playing on a Friday. Yeah. The floor would have had to come over anyway. His hand would have been dead.
Yeah. So Billy's standing up. We're more than 3/4 of the way through. He's stuck like a piece of pork, and Grant's sitting there just tanking, and I could just see Billy just whatever. And finally Billy goes, "Fuck it, clock." Yeah. And I don't think there's ever been a clock called ever. And everyone liked it because we're like, fuck, like, come on. I was stuck a little bit, but I'm like, come on,
I think it has less to do with being stuck than sticking up for the game. I always stick up for the game, whether I'm in the booth or at the table. And I could see a lot of people. There were like 3 people standing up, and a lot of people were getting irritated with how long it took. And it was more that he... I've kind of been trying to help this kid. Like, you can't do this stuff and get invited to stream games. And he was making the game about him more than it should have been.
Right.
There's 9 players and a dealer. it's about the group. You have to have communal behavior. You can't be tanking and talking about your own hand over and over. So it wasn't about me being stuck.
Okay, I believe you.
I stand up for the game. If someone's trying to be a bully, I will stand up.
Yeah.
No matter what. If I'm in the booth, if I'm at the table, or even in the chat. When JRB was trying to bully Wes, I was tilting in the chat and probably shouldn't have been saying anything, but I was calling it out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm old school. I stand up for the game.
I get it. And you want to walk us through just for fun, because I think it was a fun hand. You referenced, what was it, 5 high or 6 high?
Oh, it was 5 high.
4 or 5 diamonds?
Yeah.
So walk us, if you can, because you're good at that. Walk us through that hand, why you called, why you put it in, like, I folded the kings, like go through the whole thing.
Right. So I was dealt out, which means just no starting hands, like 8 deuce offs, just stuff that doesn't even appear on any chart. And so I'm not in that lineup. I'm not playing those hands. Like I will 3-bet 7-6 offsuit because that is actually kind of a playable hand.
Right.
But most of the night was just stuff I couldn't play. And you have to get involved when you're on a stream. You have to put on some sort of show. And so
You're frustrated. You're frustrated.
No, I feel like you owe it to like the show. Like I know the player that just sits there and doesn't do anything. You get bad cards, and then they're like,
Billy, I get frustrated. So let me just say this, and then I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to say it while I'm thinking of it. I get frustrated because I already have that persona of being my pre-flop game.
Right.
So when I go card dead and spot dead in a game, I start to get frustrated and get anxiety and want to start playing hands I shouldn't, because I already know I'm going to take heat. And then I'm frustrated because I'm completely card dead. There's no way I want to put my money in with these 2 cards. Like, no. And I'm like, well, fuck, maybe I should. And that's, so I understand. I get frustrated too.
Yeah. And poker is a social game. Even if you're not on stream, if you've been dealt out, you have to squeeze with a bad hand every once in a while, right? And so this wasn't a squeeze spot. Zio playing extremely solid, up a bunch, opened under the gun, and you 3-bet him under the gun 1. So when it gets to me on the button, I have 5-4 diamonds, first playable hand in a long time. Mm-hmm. It's not a classic call here.
I think it's 5,800 to you, right?
No, it's only 1,200 at this point.
Oh, it's 1,200
So it's 1,200 to me. I'm not closing the action. It's not a great spot, but the likelihood of it getting 4-bet is very, very low.
Right.
Because if he opens under the gun and you 3-bet under the gun
that
1,
means something.
Who's 4-betting light? No one. No one's 4-betting light.
No.
And so chances are I'm going to get to see the flop for $1,200 in position with a hand that can crack. One of you probably has a very good hand. You both have good hands, but one of you might have a really good hand.
Right.
And 5-4 diamonds is kind of hand where you can flop something and you can get the double up.
So you put it in, it goes back to Zio.
Goes back to Zio, and of course he makes it 5,800. Oh shit. Okay, Nick's gonna fold and I'm gonna fold. Nick calls. Fuck. Okay. Now I'm getting like a sick price on my hand. I wish I was deeper, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Behind. But you're getting a great price. Now I am closing the action and gamble. Like, this is the thing. It's close enough. Just fucking gamble. And I did. I put in the money, and we had a big pot. We had 18K in there.
Yeah, and I think it came 10 Jack something with 2 diamonds.
Jack 10-6 with 2 diamonds, and Zio checked. You bet 10K. I had about 11K. Obviously, I'm going all in when I have a flush draw.
Totally.
Here. I have the right equity.
Yeah.
Zio went all in, which is insane in my opinion.
Yeah.
With aces, you made a really good fold with kings. And then you saw it. I had 39% equity. Right. We run it twice, and I fucking break out in the 50K pot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
There was one hand that night. I don't know who it was against. Was it against Zio? Again, after that, maybe you weren't frustrated, but you seemed frustrated, and you got it in again, and you guys went twice, and you lost the first board. And then you're going to second board, and you hit, and you stayed alive, and you were like, I actually was fucking rooting for you. Get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I was just venting, but yeah, it's frustrating anytime you sit down and play poker and you're dealt out. Right?
No, of course.
And then on stream, where the viewers are expecting you to put on some sort of show and like battle with Andy.
This was your Tuesday debut.
Thursday, yeah. Thursday. And like, you're just not dealt anything.
Right.
And you run into the nuts the few times you like squeeze with bad hands.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
And so that was frustrating. And yeah, I'm temperamental. No question. I tilt I tilt way faster than I wish I did.
So speaking of temperamental, you alluded to doing commentary, and you do commentary on Hustler Casino Live, if you know, for the viewers who don't know. But I've done commentary there once, and man, the chat pros, it's hard to get them to like you. Was there a growing pains for you on that show?
Definitely.
They gave her a beating.
Yeah.
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah, it was good.
Opposite.
Do it harder.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm extremely sensitive, like hypersensitive person, which
Really?
Yeah, which is why I've always been able to win at poker. I just know what's going on with every person, and like
Bingo.
Like with the hand they're dealt, just what's going on with
Their demeanor, their feeling, their vibe.
Yeah, did their wife just call them? Are they pissed off? I just know what's going on most of the time, right? And so that comes from being super sensitive. And so when they hired me as like a trial to be a commentator, I liked it, but I was learning, and there's 2 screens and there's a lot going on, and I wasn't great right away, and they were so fucking mean. I would be like, fuck you, like I still do, like, come to the Hustler right now. I'll just type it in there.
Meet me in the parking lot.
I still do.
If you don't get stabbed on the way in, I'll stab you.
Yeah, but I think I've kind of weeded out some of the worst, like, trolls / haters just by beating them at their own game, by being like more clever than they are. Mm-hmm. And I think I've won over the chat pros.
You have.
So it's changed. Now it's like this really warm feeling every time I commentate.
Yeah,
like,
or they're going to get banned.
I love seeing...
well, you're a part of their tribe now.
Yeah, I'm a chat pro at heart.
Yeah.
I'm the same as them, right?
Yeah.
And I love it. Like, I see so many different people in there every single time. It just feels, it's got this family vibe to it now. And of course, you'll have 1 or 2 haters, and it wouldn't be right if there weren't.
I noticed that if you give them the haters attention, then they start to like it, and they want more. It's really attention-seeking behavior that they have.
They are, and then if you really just like own them and like, okay, you're being a little out of line, I'm going to send you to your room, no electronics, because you can give them a timeout, right?
Yeah.
I want you to think about what you did. I think you're going to come out with better energy or whatever, and then they'll just like, oh, fine, you win. And then they're like, I've thought about it. I'm ready to be a good boy or whatever.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, and I swear I'm not trying to mirror you, but I'm the same way.
You're sensitive.
I'm very...
You might be more sensitive than I am.
I'm extremely sensitive. Now, I've learned to lean into it.
Yeah.
Right? But I've never thought about what you said, and it's so true, is that I have a lot of weak things in my game. I really do. But if I had one strong thing, it's that my ability to understand where every single person at that table is at that particular night or moment, and my instincts, because I am so in tune, like socially insensitive, that's my strength. And I've made a lot of my decisions based on that and not math, because it's my strength.
I'd say it is math. You're just narrowing a range way down. You're taking out all the light values. If someone just has a really nutted hand, you're taking out the bluffs and all the light values.
Yeah, of course.
And now you're just running against a little tiny range, right?
That's right, yeah.
So that is still math.
Yeah.
And that's being perceptive is just a huge thing. That's why live pros are not like fundamentally sound. They just know what's going on with the person next to them.
That's so crazy. I've never heard it put that way, but it resonated with me when you said it, because it's me.
Very sensitive people typically are abused as children. That's why they're highly sensitive. So do we need to turn this into a different podcast?
Because I'll be
have
straight.
Some therapy?
I personally wasn't. But I was raised by women.
You were raised by women?
I was like
my dad died when I was 10.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So maybe, but no, I had a key around my neck, and I had to raise myself and do all that, and I came from like hard knocks, but I had a great life. I have no beef, so I don't feel abused, but I'm still a sensitive little bitch.
Yeah. People that listen to my podcast that are watching right now are just like, I've pretty much told my whole story on my podcast. I do it anonymously. That's why I stay with DGAF. And yeah, I definitely took some beatings as a little one, like plenty. Like,
good read,
yeah.
Valerie.
I mean, I'm highly sensitive.
Oh
but
my
I
God,
hide
you're
it. I keep
such
it
a
to
pain in the
myself.
ass. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're very sensitive.
But,
Are you sensitive?
Oh,
I am very sensitive.
but she
yeah.
hides it with the other overcompensates.
Yeah, I overcompensate. I'm sarcastic.
I found this out the
Well,
hard
but
way.
I
I'm the same.
overthink everything, and I fit anytime I go into a room, it's exhausting for me because I look at everyone and I'm like, I see body language that's like uncomfortable here, and I want to make this person comfortable. Like, are you okay? What's going on? Can I get you? And it's so much work. That's why I like being by myself a lot.
Oh,
It's exhausting for me.
yeah.
And it's better for others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, people probably think you're an extrovert, like they think I'm an extrovert, but really I need that time alone. If I go to like a party, I don't know people, it's just the most draining thing.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Fuck,
So
like, I just
you
want to
can-
get out of there.
You can
Same.
be an extroverted introvert. Like there's a spectrum of it.
Yeah.
So you're introverted, but you enjoy social things. But then when you come home, you're like, I'm exhausted. I need downtime.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, and I'm similar. I use like always sarcastic,
Yep.
just to keep it light and not have to. Yeah.
Where have you worked on the as a commentator and practicing your art? Where have you worked? How have you mastered watching these kind of games and commentating on them and still giving the customer service you do? Because even recently, I was in a excuse me, I was in a hand. I don't remember what it was, but I watched it back, and you were like, "Well, I think Nick is probably maybe he's trying to I really don't know what he's trying to do with this move, but he did it. So, but like, how do you get instead of what you should say is like, what the fuck is he doing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you were just clicking a button like we all
I think
do.
I just like clicked or punted
Right.
or did something. Yeah.
So that's easy for me. First of all, I've been entertaining poker tables ever since I changed from like that pro that just took into like, no, I'm going to make this a party every time. I'm going to entertain people. People are going to be happy to play until 5 a.m. and they're going to be happy to kick up the stakes 4x, put 3 straddles on. They just really are, because it's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
And so you learn quickly, like if you're criticizing bad play, that's just the most illogical thing you can do.
It's the worst thing you can do. Yeah.
And
It's not constructive in those moments.
it's not constructive, and why would you want to be constructive? You want people to play bad. And then there's the other element of some people who are new to being good at poker think that's their identity, right? So they think down upon people who aren't. For me, it's the opposite. I just love people who have a lot of heart, that want to fucking gamble, that'll click a button every now and then. And like I do it as well. And I just try and
Do you do
celebrate
it on
that.
purpose, or do you do it sometimes because of your emotional state, or you just mess up, or both?
No, occasionally I'll do it on purpose, but
Yeah.
most of the time I think this is probably true with most poker players, that sometimes you're in the zone and that's the fucking best.
Isn't that something?
It's so slow and easy, and sometimes you're not in the zone, you're
know.
not locked, and you're just going to be clicking buttons in those spots.
I wonder why that is, because I think I've even talked about this with Valerie a couple times, where I had some notes and she's like, what's in the zone or something? And I'm like, it's the weirdest dichotomy. I said, sometimes I'll play and I just feel like I know everything I need to do and why, and it's almost like I could probably take a nap and still do it. And then there's sometimes I'm like, I do it and I go, what did I do? Even before I get punted off, right? Or I do this and I'm like, I just can't get it right today.
I think for most of us, it has to do with how we're running.
Yeah.
We take a few beats, we run into the top of a range too many times, and then we start questioning everything.
Confidence
Confidence in the deck, confidence in our abilities.
Yeah.
And then you have this monkey on your back, and you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, this person sucks. And right now they're just, I have no idea what to do against them.
They're owning me,
They're
yeah.
owning my face right now.
Yeah.
and then like when you're in the zone, it's like, oh my God, everyone here is so dead. Like
so
I have to
stupid.
disguise this. Like, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's so interesting to me. Yeah.
So I love that you're at heart just this. I hope you're not insulted when I say this, like degenerate gambler.
Yeah.
And I love that you're here for the game, because I feel like so many people miss that part of it. But I'm curious to know. I think people out there would love to know, like, how many times have you gone broke, considering you've got this mindset?
1 million. Yeah. Just
Are you broke right now?
yeah. I like so my story is, once I became a poker pro, I won a bunch of money, and I was probably averaging somewhere over $250,000 a year, and I was spending about $2,000 less than that every year. So that's just, And it wasn't just I have kids and ex-wife, and so I have and I was helping people out. Someone needed money for a payment or whatever. I would just give people $5K, and I just have never been attached to money. And so the first time I went broke is when I won like $60K in 2011. And then since then I ran it back up, and then I really like spiraled down in life, not even in poker, but in life, and kind of hit a rock bottom in 2017. And I've been like on this slow comeback trail since. And people have always offered to stake me, but I never wanted to do it because I know I have a spreadsheet with all these hours. I know I'm just giving money away when I do it. And finally I agreed to do it, to start playing on the show instead of playing, 5-10, playing bigger. And so I'm the worst financial.
So do you think,
person.
Regardless of the fact that you believe, and I do believe, that you probably have more time in the lab, you probably can crush poker when you put your mind to it and have the right bankroll, but you believe the reasons why, or I'm just asking, are the reasons why that you went broke more times than you should have, being that good of a player, does it have to do with all the other intangibles, which is tilt? And when you tilt, do you tilt with your chips, or do you just tilt emotionally? Does it have to do with alcohol and tilt? Does it have to do, like, what are the reasons for the up-and-comer grinders that ask these questions? Like, how do you manage a bankroll? How do you do this? I mean, I think it's good to hear, like, what are the things not to do if you become a top player to not go broke and to actually turn that into 5-10 years of consistent E plus EV?
Yeah, it's tough because to be really good at this one game, at least No Limit Hold'em, you have to be kind of a sicko when it comes to not caring about the money, right?
Yeah.
You know it's the right play, so you're going to do it. You're not going to think about this is a 15K shove,
right,
and like if I run into it, I'm fucked. So you kind of have to be a little bit of a sicko to be really, really good.
Right.
The people that have all the money are the ones that aren't super good. They just play their steady game, and they manage their money well, and they just do it over and over, and they invest but for me, it's, I don't know about giving advice, because we just are who we are. Like,
yeah, no, I get it.
I'm always gonna spend money, and I do want to be financially secure. I've been financially secure twice, but I don't ever need like a bunch. I just want to be able to, like, keep my kids in their spot and give them a good education, and and have a nice life. But for me, it's not the tilt. And when I tilt, you can see it. I mean, I don't punt. I don't tilt with chips. I will not pay off someone who doesn't deserve it.
But there's two different types of tilters.
Right.
There's people who tilt emotionally,
for sure,
and that's me.
Yeah.
But I can maintain my chips. I won't tilt with my chips. I won't do it.
Occasionally I will, but
very
generally,
rarely.
But generally, no, I won't. I will just tilt emotionally. I will not pay someone off who doesn't deserve it.
But there are some people that start losing and get emotionally tilted.
Does that.
Yes, and they just start pressing to the point where a 30K loss is now 130. And that's where you're really running into, like, you can't win in poker.
I will make bad decisions of playing too big when I'm tilted.
Yeah.
Which I did recently. I played 200, 500 heads up after a Monday stream.
Oh, wow.
And just like, it was a good spot, but I just wasn't, that I'm not rolled for that at all.
Yeah, you're not rolled for, no matter how much better maybe you were. Who knows? Right. I don't know who it was, if I do or no, whatever. But that's a tough one.
Yeah, but everything's going in the right direction for me. I've been battling 2017 was when I kind of hit the bottom, and then I started my podcast sessions in 2018 to hold myself accountable to playing well on a comeback, playing smaller than I ever had before. And this is season 5, and it's all starting to go in the right direction. Good. And a lot of it has had to do with Ryan leaving the bike and you guys forming Hustler Casino Live. And
I'm glad it happened for you and for us.
And it happening at the Hustler, where Sean Yapel is the general manager.
He's amazing.
It's just all been like this really huge. It's been my career bink. Like, I've never run hot in a tournament or whatever.
Yeah.
This has been my big bink.
This is your bink, yeah.
So speaking of your show, your cast of characters on the show are what makes the show great. And obviously you started that. So tell me, I guess, like, about some of your favorite characters on your show, and like maybe a few great things that, some of your favorite moments.
You're talking about the Max Payne Monday?
Yeah.
So I think Beans is fascinating to watch because he will play kind of solid and then he'll just implode. And he will have some genius moments. He had a genius moment against Nick in a Wednesday or Tuesday game one time. Do you remember
raised
that?
me with in that one hand, yeah.
You guys both knew the other was light, and he
went one layer above me, yeah.
Yeah. So he's very talented and disciplined, and sometimes will implode. And then just like you, DK is my favorite player. He's just,
I love him so much. If he's on the show, I will not miss it.
He's just first of all, he's such a great guy.
And he has the fuck it button. Like, it's permanently broken.
It's on.
Yeah.
The game's too small for him.
Yeah, he just doesn't care, and he's just hella action. Yeah.
He told me, he's like, he's playing in these games where there's $1 million pots. In private games, when he comes Monday, he just has fun. And he says, if it's $3,000, like, he's like, that just seems fun. Like, let's just put it in.
You sure I can't get another seat on Monday?
No.
Okay.
Just me.
She's in charge now. Don't ask her.
I was
owner.
asking her.
Yeah.
That's hysterical. Do you remember what Beans did right after he made that bluff? Do you remember?
He turned his hand over.
And said what, though?
Ship it?
No, he goes, so he
That's
made
what
a great...
I thought, or something?
No. That just happened.
Oh, he said that just happened?
And I was like, yeah, that did happen.
Yeah.
Nice one.
I live for the ridiculous characters.
I can tell.
Yeah, I just, it's what, like...
The show is kind of a reflection of who you are and your personality now that I'm talking to you.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool that Ryan's just giving me a lot of freedom. It's not my show, but he's just giving me a lot of freedom with it.
The graphics were your idea?
No. So Raver Poker is the commentator on that
Kyle,
night.
yeah.
And he is a genius with graphics. He does the intros, and he is a big part of the branding for this show as well. He saw the slow roll and was like, we need to do that more often. And then the people that watch always complain about running it twice. He said, well, we can do that on our Monday game. And then he polled the chat and said, what would be a good name for it? And someone said Max Payne Monday. So the lineups are a reflection of what I know about poker and what works. But he should get a lot of credit as well.
Yeah, he's very good at it. Very good, yeah. And
does
so
he
many
do
other
the
things too.
graphics for the whole show too?
Yeah, he does all the graphics, and then he and another
and the music
person.
Videos.
Yes, he and another person make the videos. We have two channels. We have the main channel and we have the clips channel. So we use both, and so him and another individual are the ones that make the videos too, as well.
I'm surprised more people don't subscribe to HCL Poker Clips.
Yeah, well, they watch them. That's the crazy part. Like, even with Valerie and I, like, we have on some shows, we had like 70,000 views and we have 5,000 subscribers. It's just, they just have to,
we
I
have
don't
the same
know.
viewership of like 150,000 subscriber channels.
Yeah,
it's
but
weird.
I'm trying to figure that out too. Like, so if you're watching, you fucking subscribe. Like come on.
And subscribe,
do you
everyone.
like the show? Remember we said, if you don't like the show, do it anyway so we can annoy you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just don't know about it because they subscribe to Hustler Casino Live.
Yeah.
And they like the shows. They really like the timestamps. A lot of people are busy and can't watch 5 hours. Some people love the 5 hours a night. And they love the short videos. But also, some of the videos come from HCL Poker Clips.
Right.
And that's content people eat up. I'm just surprised that the numbers aren't high.
Well, we got to find a way to make it clear to them, and we got to work on it that they just need to pop that button too, because that really helps. Because the truth is they're going to get free poker constant forever. We're never going to ever charge for anything, but that helps us with algorithms, and that's how we make money on YouTube. So and so maybe we got to get better at it. I don't know. I know when you're commentating, I'm constantly like, hit the like button, subscribe. It's important to us. Sometimes people get annoyed, but they have to understand if like they're getting something special, that's all you got to do.
Right.
Like if that's all you do, that and watch, and like we're golden, So hopefully that happens. And we do have another thing too that we're doing. We're going to pop another channel out, and we're going to do something in between the 5-6 hour show and the 3-minute video. We're going to put out videos that are maybe 8, 10, 15 minutes that have like all the premier hands from certain parts. So that's going to be a big one too. Well, it was her idea.
I mean, I'm still going over the
she
details.
Got Ryan and I to agree to it.
You can come to my office later and we can discuss it. So, I asked this from Ryan, and I genuinely am interested because we saw that Live at the Bike and other live streams, they're doing okay, but Hustler has just blown everybody out of the water. And I'm talking about network television poker shows. Hustler's just, we are objectively saying that it's the best show. And what do you think that, like, what is different about Hustler Casino Live that other folks aren't doing?
The commitment to the art, if that's what you want, to the content, to the production, sparing no expense, getting the right people in all the right spots and giving them the freedom. That's what I think the genius of Ryan Feldman. Not only his lineups are fantastic, right? But he gets you in a spot where he thinks you might thrive, and then he just lets you go. He has never once given me any sort of feedback on my commentating. And he hired me when I had no experience commentating. He just thought I'd be good at it. And with Raver, he lets him do these intro videos however his genius mind wants to work. And the guy doing the camera, let him go. Set him up for success. And then Nick and Ryan and the Hustler saying, how much money do you need? What do we need here? We need new equipment. They just have thought very long term, and I don't know that other streams have. And it's just the passion and the commitment to the content.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I was just going to say that's a sign of a really good manager, as someone who lets their employees thrive and sees where they're good and puts them there and gives them the creativity and the means to do what they do best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is going to sound cheesy or a segue. It's really not, but it made me think of it. I'm going to say it because I'm just going to.
Say it.
But in that book that I wrote, Seven Figure Systems, as far as being a leader and leading a company or leading people, I have a chapter in there that says, the people that are working with you have to feel like it's their company. They have to defend it like it's their company. They have to want it to grow like it's their company. They have to feel like they're with you and not just working for you, right? And then you put, like you said, the right people in the right places that have that feeling and that mission. And it's just like, Billy's going to do everything he can to be the best commentator he can, and he's going to do everything he can to make Monday nights the best for himself, because it does probably serve yourself and some binks in there for you. But at the same time, it's like people are going, I just need this to succeed. I want to be part of this forever. I want to do this, and I want these guys to be successful. They've treated me so well, and they've allowed me to be me, and they're not micromanaging me. So to that point, just to compound on it, is that if anybody's out there watching and you're running a business, that's how you got to run it. Now, of course, you have to have your finger on the pulse. You do have to pull back when, like, come on, you can't say that. You can't, whoever it is. But other than that, you let the good things be good, and you give them the credit, that type of thing. So it's just the way you should lead. Yeah.
For example, Nick is co-owner. Well, you are as well. But before you were an owner, when it was just Nick and Ryan, Nick said, I would like to play on Mondays. He just loves to play poker, and Mondays are open for him or whatever. And I had to be like, well, it's just not a good fit because you're too good. You can play on the other days, and so, like, to feel comfortable saying that, like, oh no, you can't play on your own show. Sorry, man. Thanks for asking though.
Yeah. Well, I said, Billy.
Yeah.
Hey,
I respect that.
I respect that.
Yeah.
And you're making this thing work, and you're actually saying something that's true.
Right.
And even though, like, I know I could say I'm playing, I'll never do that, but thanks for trying.
Well, a bad manager will want yes people around them.
Right.
Right? Not people who are going to tell him the truth, or her.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Cool. What else you got, Val? Because I got a bunch, but
Go ahead.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Yeah. So while you're commentating, who are your favorite players to watch? Like, and why? Who are your favorite players to commentate on? It's not going to be me, so it's not a setup question. If I did ask him who are the, like, best players that play in the show, he'd probably say me, but that's not the question. The question is, who do you enjoy as a joke? Who do you enjoy?
Well, you're the second biggest winner, aren't you?
That's what I said.
Yes.
Behind Garrett, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think JRB took over second because he won the $1 million, but yeah, I'm second. But who's your favorite players to watch and why, and to commentate on for yourself?
Okay, so my favorite is Ludacris to commentate on. Totally. I think he has endless talent, and he doesn't always show it, and he does everything right to get action. Everyone loves playing with him, but he also is probably a very winning player. So he is the good for the game.
Where is he winning?
He's winning somewhere. Nick.
I know.
So Alan Keating.
That's so funny.
Alan Keating, along the same lines. Alan Keating.
Yes. Of course.
People will be like, "Wow, this guy is calling with 9-4 offsuit," and I'm just sitting there like, "Do you know how good this guy is at poker?"
Right.
People don't know.
Of course.
Well, they see it in a vacuum, right? They don't know that he was like running games in Vegas with Danielle Moon back in the day.
Right. Yeah. So people that don't play just the hand dealt to them, they think long term, are my favorite. Alan, Luda. There's so many. I love watching Santa play. He's just action.
Oh my God, he's crazy.
And he's very good pre-flop.
This is an alarm company, so I don't know if it's my home. We're just going to do this right on air.
Yeah, let's see what's going on.
This is Nick. Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to know about my low battery. So I thought maybe someone is in my house taking all my shit. Okay, go.
So,
I thought there was going to be another apology tour.
For me, poker is not trying your hardest. It's not making it a sport. I don't think it works like that. I don't think you can go to any casino right now and see people playing poker as a sport. That game will break unless there's one huge whale in there, and then when that huge whale leaves, the game will break. It doesn't work as a sport.
Yeah.
It just dies as a sport. It works as a social game. So the people that embrace that, Ludacris, Alan Keating, that's kind of my favorite.
Sure.
People just thinking very long term. And funny enough, most commentators want to do Friday nights, and that's a different beast. That is fascinating in its own right. It is a sport. It's just so not what I'm into. I requested a long time ago, like, no, give me the goofy games.
Yeah.
I don't need this, like, these serious games where no one's talking or the conversation isn't very pure. I don't know. So yeah. I like I like Luda.
Well, me as a player, and me too, and I can tell you know what I love about Luda the most? His money. No.
Yeah.
And I'm joking. What I love about Luda the most is a lot what you said, but everyone thinks out there, so if you're listening, everyone thinks out there that him and I actually have a real rivalry, like where we don't like each other. He's one of my favorite people, and he's one of my favorite people because whether he's up 150 or down, he's a gentleman. Now, we do needle each other, and we do, root against each other kind of for reals and kind of fakely, but he also knows, and I talked about this maybe on stream or maybe on this show, is he also knows when to back off, just like I will with him.
Yeah.
Like when it's really getting like painful, like I'll stop. Like I like him, and I don't want to see him punt off $1.50 on a Tuesday. I really don't, unless it's totally to me. Then I'm not going to lie.
Fine,
then
yeah.
I want him to. Yeah, but I like the kid, is what I'm saying, and so I totally get it. And for me too. Well, there's like 3 or 4 or 5 reasons that I don't play a lot on Fridays. The main one is that I take my girls out to dinner and I like seeing them because they're older now. That's just for sure the main reason. The other reason is what you said. I started playing on Fridays here and there and I was bored. Not bored because there's some times where I just want to play pure poker and I just really want to focus and do that. It's a perfect game because it's at a different level. It's whatever. But I like the Tuesday guys and the talking and the bullshit and Santa next to me and all that stuff. And then the other thing is too, there's such a demand for the Friday game to play at that level and the type of lineups that I can't always get a seat. So for me, like if I play on one Friday and I lose like, 180,000, then I got to go back to the Tuesday game for the next 4 weeks.
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm under too much pressure wanting to win and wanting to be a winning player to have that kind of unless I want to play it like every week and could commit to it. But to your point, it's just so much more fun during the week.
Yeah, I mean, Friday is fantastic. It's the #1 show. It's basically a suspense movie every time. You feel like the adrenaline watching
Yes.
it, and it works only because it's streamed. If it was streamed, it wouldn't work.
Totally.
And you have people.
Why? Tell me why.
Because the guys who aren't as good would never play with the guys that are as good, just for the challenge of it. It has to be on stream.
People like being on stream.
Well, you can go back and review you'll never know what they had. if you're not on stream.
Do you notice how attitudes have changed though towards being on stream? Because when I first started doing the live stream out in Sacramento, a lot of pros did not want to be on the stream because they're like, I can't give away how I play. I'm like, dude, no one's paying attention. Literally, no one's getting that much better by watching you play. It's like
I wouldn't say no one.
Well, so a lot of people aren't paying attention to that, I think, because you see people are not improving. The people who are genuinely studying are improving, but there's so much value to maybe giving a bit more action on stream, and then you get a better persona in the poker room, and you'll get more action, and then you can tighten up a little bit off stream. And then you can review your hands.
Yeah. So
I agree. Go ahead.
No, please.
I agree with you that a lot of pros were paranoid about it, right?
Yeah.
At the beginning. And then I think it's also become kind of a necessity of where you're going to find a juicy game if not on stream.
Yeah.
It's just the Mondays I get to play in 10, 20, 40, and it gets bigger after the stream, and it's juicy, and like, where could I find this if not on stream?
Yeah, and what I think happened too is when streaming first started, and maybe not first started, but as it was going, a lot of players, to your point, like even like Garrett, didn't want to play on stream because he didn't want people to see what he was doing and how he was doing it. And then what just happened, and that's because the streams were built around a lot of players like him and pros, and so they didn't want that. But as the pros, and which would love to get in more of these games and they can't, only a few can, that brings something to the table. But as players started to realize, and let's not even call them pros, started to realize is that once these games started to be built from the action up to the pros, because if you build a game from the pros up, it doesn't work. So it has to be built from the action down, and then the couple of pros that just bring so much for viewership. So once they realized that, they didn't care about giving up that information anymore because it was so lucrative. And I will say myself, being the fish at Live at the Bike for a few years, and the game being built around me for that, playing with like the best pros in LA, and then being able to see it, and then to realize how much I really didn't know, because then it just became clear to me, oh my God, I don't even understand poker. I've been playing for years. And then now even be able to go into the lab and watch every single hand and every nuance and seeing how they act and who moves this. And it's like, it's been invaluable to me to be able to have that information and to be able to study my own game.
It's a great tool. The person I think of on the Friday game now is JR. He's a very successful dude in real life, right? Yeah. And he was kind of getting beaten up. Yeah. And you can tell he's put his mind to getting good at poker. And it's just so quick, the evolution of this guy that was like the spot turning into like, holy shit, this guy's a beast now already, just like a few months later.
Yeah, and that's because of the streamer. It would never happen. And that would be the same as Wesley. Like literally people are saying, oh, I don't know if I believe him. Did he not start poker? Who knows? But I could tell you this. I played at a table with Wesley on month 1. And he had no clue what he was doing. Right. It was literally easy to just pick him off. Yeah. And now you play with him, and it's like not that easy. No. He knows what he's doing. He studied.
You give a smart, driven person a new hobby, and then you give them the tools. Like they can go review all their hands with someone, and they're just going to get good. And that's what you're seeing with JR, and that's what you saw with Wesley. Yeah. He's been like the actor of the show. Like
Wesley?
I don't want to say actor, but he's been like the character of the show.
Yeah, most interesting character for a while.
He showed up, short stack, didn't understand. He had his natural hair color. He was dressed very conservative. And if you watch him over the
evolution
year plus of the show, it's just so cool on like a human level. Just to watch a kid,
it's
getting smug when he's winning, and then people pushing back on him, and then he's becoming more humble.
His social media posts too.
His social medias are epic.
They're
right?
so the nuts.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, this is my opinion. I think Wesley has went from what you said to this, like being the almost villain / popular / like famous, whatever. But now that he's getting really good, and it's so important to him to win not for money, because he's very prideful on how he's viewed. He's starting to slide down into doing what some pros do, which is buy short in action games, which is plus EV, and being a little more interested in the lineup, a little more, you know, like I see the evolution.
There are a lot of people that used to be like the action players that are they're the biggest grinders. I don't know if I should say their names, but like they tilt me when I'm commentating and I see them in the lineup because I see right through it. They're just super grinders now. It doesn't mean they're great at poker. It just means they're trying really hard to win in a game where most people are just trying to put on a show.
Yeah, and those evolutions take place right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, and then eventually they don't have a seat, right? Like they just
that's usually what happens.
End up on a different
eventually
stream.
yes, with nobody watching. I'm
curious what you think, since you do commentary. Hustler's one of the few shows that does the single person commentary, and it works. It's working so far, but other people have criticized not having two commentators. What do you think about that?
Can I just add to that so you can answer all of it? What she said, and add to it what others have said, like Matt Berkey and their stuff when you Tuck and Bart, like, were like, what the fuck? And there was all that, like, mostly Tuck got involved in it. But again, I just wanted to add that so you can add to that.
So what he does when I ask a question, or when he wants to ask a question, no, he'll repeat it, mansplain it, but he'll also run off like 100 questions to our guests and be like, here, memorize these, go.
So basically, translation to what she said is, I make her question better, go.
Yeah, so I haven't heard a lot of people saying that they don't like the one commentator approach. I do know that Matt Berkey doesn't like it. I go way back with Matt Berkey and have had nothing.
Shout out to Matt Berkey.
Yeah, I've had nothing but good interactions with him.
No, he's a friend of mine. I mean,
I go really far back with him, and I've interviewed him on my podcast, and yeah, he's just one of the solid dudes in poker. I was a little surprised when I saw a comment. Someone showed me that he said most of the commentary is trash, and it was on the Hustler Casino Live topic, and he said it was about something else, and then it turned into, I think, one commentator is not a good approach. And he says he really likes the two commentator thing at Poker Go. Is that right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and he mentioned that he believes that if like our show would go to another level if we had a Nick and Ali, because we now can sit on our laurels because we're the best, but if we wanted to, we don't even really need the table talk, or it's not as...
Let me give you a bit of maybe perspective that some shows are a little more boring to watch. Where Hustler Casino Live, the show isn't the commentator. The commentator is just dancing around the action. The show is awesome to watch and hella action.
Why are you giving me that perspective? Because that's what I agree with.
I'm just saying, yeah, I know we agree, but I'm saying that I'm mansplaining you. What you're saying. Okay,
so you're giving them the perspective.
Yeah. I'm saying that, like, I think Berkey has the perspective of watching shows that are a little more boring and are commentary dependent. Whereas, yeah, we have great. Me as an owner of Hustler Casino Live, we have great commentators, but like it's not as dependent on commentary. The weight is carried by the show.
Yeah, I would disagree with Berkey on this one. So I don't watch the World Series of Poker coverage. Once you're in poker too long, you're just not going to watch that. I don't think those players are mic'd up. Maybe they are on the featured table. Are they?
Yeah, they make up the final table of the series.
The feature table.
Each player is?
And yeah, they do.
Okay, so there's a lot of commentary though. There's the play-by-play and the color, and they're talking. There's not much talk by the players, and these players are just people that randomly got chosen in this tournament. So they're not characters. They can't carry the show. At Hustler Casino Live, we only bring on people who are going to put on a show. They are mic'd up, and I think the feedback I got right away is that the viewers want to hear the players.
Yeah.
And they especially want to hear the players in the bigger games, but they always want to hear the players. And going back to that sensitivity that I have, I hate two conversations at once. I will stop what I'm saying if someone starts talking at the table. And like you said, you're just dancing around it. Occasionally you have to call some action, or if someone's just going on and on about something stupid, go ahead and talk over that. But in general, I think for a 5-hour show, it's got to be about the players, and they aren't just random poker players doing well in a tournament.
Yeah.
They're chosen because they're insane, because they're fucking Beans or DK or whoever else. It's very intriguing, right? They're chosen for that reason. They are the show. I've called it a reality poker show. That's what it is. We're not trying to put the best players on. And the other thing I'll say to that is, I understand Matt's perspective. Matt is way in poker. What I'm trying to do as a commentator is build the show and build the game by getting people who aren't already into poker, right? And let them experience these crazy characters and make light of stuff, and I try to not get too technical, because I'm not trying to appease people who are already gonna fucking watch. I'm trying to bring new people in, and I think the show thrives on that.
And Billy, do you think because maybe possibly Matt is a poker purist, that he enjoys maybe that more quiet, concentrated like type of atmosphere where you got two guys, you know, one offsetting the other in a good way, like Nick and Ali, because they're great, and just likes, maybe just his personal opinion, likes that vibe of a little bit of that, some good poker pure
it caters
commentating,
more to his...
caters more to him, because
Yeah.
I could understand that, but when, and I use this word so many times in the last podcast, but to be so dogmatic and just say, this is the only way this show, meaning ours, is going to the next level, is to bring Nick and Ali in or someone like that, because the rest just aren't going to take them there. Meaning you, everyone else. So, and I'm not trying to stir the pot. That's the part that I disagree with. I could agree with, hey, for me, I like to watch this because this fills my tank of real poker commentary, because they don't have the characters that are all going to be talking a lot. And so for me, I enjoy that. So if I was going to invest my time, I want that. That I could totally agree with, because that's just like a choice, right? That's an opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I don't watch the World Series poker coverage, but I know
think
that
we're talking more like Poker Go,
yeah.
You know, like the quiet, like where you see Negron. You know, there's some talk, but you just see a lot of pros that are just sitting there, some famous names and stuff, and it's
although
quiet.
Gabe Kaplan on Poker Go kind of does a Hustler Casino Live style, or we do his kind of style, because
well, there's a ton of dead air when those guys are playing. Patrick Antonius.
That's
never
what I mean.
talks.
Yeah.
That's different. Then you do need two commentators.
Of course.
But when you have all these ridiculous people that we have on the show all the time, Nick Airball, when he's on there, the commentator's not going to say a ton of words that night, because he's going to be driving the conversation, and love him or hate him, he's loud and he's interesting. And so, I don't agree with that. I think maybe Berkey likes that, and poker purists, whatever that means, but I've been around poker forever. I like the characters, and I like the relaxation of sometimes just hearing the cards hit the whatever that is, the wall.
Yeah, especially when Lauren's dealing.
Yeah, the chips, and then you hear the players, and then when I'm really on, I just jump in when they're being quiet, and then get right out, and then I feel really good after a 5-hour commentary session, when I just felt like I didn't talk over anyone, and I just kind of enhanced the experience. And then occasionally, if you have a serious game, then you need to really turn on, or a boring game, then you turn it on and you get fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, you got to pick it up.
Yeah, I like that whole game, and I'm only a year into it, so still learning it. But yeah.
So for the chat pros out there, for fans of you and your show and Hustler Casino Live, what would be steps for them to try to get on to your show? What do people need to do?
You mean to get on the Monday show?
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, it's a show, it's a business. A lot of poker pros have complained, why don't I get to play? Just this entitlement, and it's you can play in my poker game anytime. I run poker games on the casino floor. I never exclude anyone. Every single person is welcome. I don't care who it is, how good they are.
So is it you'd have to meet them, see that they're fun for the game kind of thing?
And really, for the Monday, what I'm trying to do is blow it up with social media. So if you don't have a big social media, or you aren't an insane action player, you're probably not getting on. And that's just the way it works. Like, I don't get to be on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, right? So it's just like, it's not an open public poker game. It's a private game. It's a show. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to find people. I don't care if they're good or bad. I want them to have a big reach. Like I've had Xuan Lu on a couple times lately. She's very good at poker, but she does everything correctly, in my opinion. And so she's welcome anytime. Yeah. Right. But some other pro that has, 400 followers, you're not doing anything for the show. And we're just trying to grow. It's a business, right, Nick? You want views. You want views and subscriptions, and you want to blow it up. And so on the Monday show, I'm trying to bring in other industries and people with strong social media, and that's about it. And then of course you have to have a couple crazy action players, and I hold myself to that too. I don't have the most social media. I do a pretty good following, but I play crazy on that show. I play 2/3 of hands, and I drink 20 beers. Yeah.
And you know me, when I'm on a show, even though everyone could say, oh yeah, it's his show, that's why he plays, and that's true. But I never shut up.
Right.
I'm always talking and needling and trolling and whatever. And so that's one thing you have to bring there. If you don't bring this or you don't bring that, is you have to be either hate you or love you.
Right.
Have that personality.
And so, but you could get on the bigger games. I think there's more openings on the bigger games. I know the Mondays are like booked for months where I can squeeze people in. But for the bigger games, you can get on there. Just show that you have a lot of money and you'll bluff and whatever else. I refer people to Ryan all the time from the casino floor.
Yeah.
I'll say, Ryan, I got a beauty. Come down here. And I'll introduce
a beauty.
Yeah. I'll just text him like, come down, man. Like, you got to come down right now.
Well, and Valerie, I have 2 more questions. I don't know if you have any more, so you let me know. I'm going to ask
I wanted to let him know because I'm going to go play on Max Payne Monday in a few weeks. But so I'm Valerie here, perfectly speaking English, Valerie, but Veronica, she going to go play.
She going to go play
Monday? She going to go play Max Payne Monday.
You're gonna be the rapper.
No, I'm gonna go in character. Veronica gonna go play.
Okay, good.
Polish #1 mother here.
Okay, good.
Why you not laugh, mother?
You
have damaged brain. What's wrong with you? You go all in.
And you don't have to worry about her posting this shit on her social media because she's got fucking fast fingers, bro.
But that's what drives the growth, right?
Yeah. Totally. So, second to last question, as you were coming up in the poker world and now, did you have any kind of poker idol that you saw as someone that was just like, wow, you're in awe of? And has that changed, and is there anyone now or the same person?
I'm trying to think.
If not, it's cool. It could just be, no, not really. I don't DGAF.
I think, so when I was coming up and becoming a pro, they had high stakes poker on, I think, back then, and my favorite player to always watch was Antonio. I think Antonio's prime is almost as good as it gets in live poker.
Sure.
His reads, the subtle things he does to like get you to call or fold.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't my and I played him heads up years later in Commerce, but I think he was my favorite in the early days. I just really liked how good he was, how comfortable he was, and
entertaining to watch, to be around. Yeah.
So, but it wasn't like he was my hero. I get it. I liked the way a lot of them played.
Sure.
But no, I don't. And I've been around so long. I don't really. If you're really good at poker, it doesn't mean much to me. I like people that are just like fun to be around and good people and like.
Yeah.
That sounds cheesy and lame.
It doesn't. That's why I like playing on this show, is because of these friends of mine now.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I go way back with Garrett, and I think he's the best. I think for No Limit Hold'em, he's the best, and so I really respect his play. I like watching him play.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're like, there's no way he's the best cash game player in the world.
No, that's not what I said. Here's what I said. Here's what I said. He's not the best, in my opinion. Here's how I frame that. That's funny that we're okay. So
I know we're talking about 2 different things. I'm just bugging you.
I know you do, but I'm just saying, like, there are so many, like, and not that Garrett couldn't adapt to this, because he's very smart, very intelligent, and he's a great player and he has no fear. I'm just saying that if you put Garrett in this different environment with a bunch of like people that have been, young kids that have been in the lab, and you got 7, 8 other players like that, you're not going to see the Garrett that you see.
Of course
not. And I'm not saying he wouldn't win, but you just, so when someone says the greatest cash game player in the world, no. But maybe.
Here's what I'll argue. I'm sure there are many players that are technically better at poker than him. But are they allowed to play in the Friday game?
No, that part I agree with.
No, this is how I look at. So maybe the best poker player is actually Rick Solomon, because he gets to win the most money or have the most EV in whatever games.
It's impossible to know.
So and Garrett has built this following by putting in the hours on Live at the Bike and earning the fans that he's a draw for the show. He crushes the game, but he's a draw for the show. So,
yes.
So, but these other guys you're talking about, they don't do anything for the show. They're not allowed to play.
That's a different subject to me, meaning he has built one of the greatest brands for himself and for the streaming poker community. And in that respect, he's the best.
And a big part of being the best is getting action. And he's the rare, super tough player that gets action. Yep. That he doesn't spew too hard anymore these days, and he still gets the action because he's got guys like JR that want to compete with him. Right. And I don't know that there's a talent to that. So that's what I think of is who who makes the most money or has the most EV. And maybe Rick Solomon makes Garrett seem small.
Yeah, who knows?
Like, who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Or maybe Alan Keating is the best. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. So
he definitely is the best.
When I say this and when we joke with each other and go back and forth, this isn't me trying to like knock Garrett off that perch. I'm just simply stating, because I get my mind, I think of it not the way you put it. I think of it a different way. It's like, how do we know? That's what I'm saying. Like when Phil Hellmuth comes in here and he says blanketly, "I'm the greatest of all time."
Well, I mean, that's,
no, but I know that's different. I know that's like, come on, you fucking that. Like we can argue against that a million ways. I'm just saying that. How can anyone say that? Like, how do you know? Where's the computer that runs this?
Oh, I just, because of how much money he wins and like his EV, he gets to play in games where he can crush. These other guys you're talking about
would he have that plus EV if he was sitting with 8 other grinders?
No, of course
That's
not.
all I was ever saying
of course not.
When me and Veronica were arguing and discussing it. That's all, or not arguing, but discussing it. That's what I was trying to say. Like in his world, yes.
Because I think a big part of being good at poker is soft skills. A huge part of it is, right? And he has them.
And some game selection. I mean, you want to play in games that are soft.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to have people willing to play with you.
Right.
Big
and he's
deep.
figured out how to do that and be that good.
How you can do that is by being amazing at the table and encouraging action and not forcing anyone, but like
so that all goes into it.
Totally agree with you.
And
you, Veronica.
So the last thing I'll say on that is the training sites. They teach people to play in a way that will never get them action. They'll never make good money playing poker. Like your partner, Lil Rip, as you call him, Ryan, he punts it off, right? But I'll take his expectation in poker over any of those guys you're talking about, those world-class,
what do you mean his expectation?
Because he's going to be in the sickest games.
Oh, yes.
And like his expectation to win.
Oh, got it.
So that's the real game to me. It's not, am I technically great? Sure. If you're technically great and you don't get the other stuff, you're never making money in this game.
Right.
You're on the sidelines.
You won't have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. You're right. You agree.
But Garrett's technically great, and he's the only one I know that technically great and gets that action.
Absolutely. Veronica, you have anything else?
Yeah. So I want to know, like, what do you see Max Payne Monday? And for you, what do you see in 2 years happening for you and your show?
For that show? So I should say
yourself personally.
It's not my show.
I knew she would look at me. I did it on purpose.
It's not. I've just been given some freedom to run with it, but it's not mine. It's Ryan and Nick's show.
It's okay. You could just admit it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the owner.
It's your show.
I own it. Yeah, it's mine.
But so I've just been kind of experimenting with things, and I think I want to really make it a reality show with recurring characters, and I want to go into other industries. We had a guy that's big in the esports world, which I don't even know what the fuck that is, but Liquid Steve played on there last week.
It's massive. It's such a huge market.
Massive. I would love to get Ninja on there. I want to get someone from the music industry. I just want to check all the boxes from other industries. I want to build the show and at the same time build poker, kind of get it out to new people. That's my whole goal with it. and I'm focused currently on social media. Maybe that'll change, but I just want people with huge social media in other industries, and they can play. I will sit out if someone like that wants to play.
And how about for you in the next few years, or however long you want to go out? What do you see for yourself or want?
I was burnt out on poker 10 years ago, and that's when you see me like tilty or crabby or whatever you want to call it at the table. I've been around. I don't need to play that much poker. Part of me wants to try and make a run of playing higher, which would mean I wouldn't be drinking at the table, and because you can't just be like having fun if everyone else is battling, right?
Right.
That's why I love the Monday show. No one's you battle. Okay, I hope you had fun. You're not playing again. That's just the way. But that's the way normal poker games are.
Right.
Like good ones.
Yeah.
So I see that show being kind of a catalyst for the rest of the days of the week, and then hopefully I get it to a point where maybe I'll put Raver Poker in the lineup, and I will commentate that, and then I'll help build a different night of the week. I love the idea of building something from scratch, or it's not from scratch, but so in 2 years, I see myself hopefully still. I'm going to be more focused as a commentator than a player, but maybe I'll try and make one run and maybe challenge someone to heads up for a lot of money, open challenge, something like that. So I think it'll be more towards the commentary and helping build the show than playing. I don't really give a shit about playing poker, as you can tell when you see me play.
Veronica, you got anything else?
That was my
it.
That was my last question.
Okay, well, that's our last question. So, just to reiterate, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, it was really nice meeting you.
Very interesting show.
Sure.
I'm a huge fan of yours and your show. So
thank you
it was
very
really
much.
nice meeting you.
It was fun. Yeah, it was cool. I'll come back whenever.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do DGAF 2 sometime.
I'll have my people contact
you. It was very
you.
informative. Honestly, there's a lot of great topics that I know the people watching and listening will definitely like. So with that said, thank you for watching. Let me just say it one more time, because we don't say this enough. If you like this show, please hit the like button. If you're watching this fucking show, subscribe, because that would be really helpful to us, and it would help you help us help you. And so we appreciate it. This is the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci. This is Valerie Brill, and this is DGAF, Billy, and V out.
Thanks for watching.